for me, it was confirmation of things that I'd learned like many, many years ago too.
Yeah.
But what was really cool about it was the target was the reincarnational trap, how to break free of reincarnation. But it was a blind target. It was just, 4 or 5 numbers that the handler had assigned to the subject, and then 4 different remote viewers. It could have been any subject in the world. They each got the target, and they each confirmed the same thing. And the confirmation is that there is a grid around the planet, and it's been put there to catch souls, catch us, and mind wipe us, and send us back on our merry way. And it's to suck the energy from us to power a bigger system. And it's not just this planet, but this is the planet we focus on. And this place is like,
like a mega battery.
Yeah, and it's like, this is like an animal farm. This is like a prison. And we can't, they don't want us to get out. They don't want us to break free. And it's a real advanced technology, and they're really doing it. And of course I knew that, but 4 different remote viewers did it blindly, and they came up with the same topic, the same subjects, and it was like.
How long ago was this experiment? I don't mean to interrupt, but it just, because it reminds me of a 2017 video where talked about that and how that's actually changed now because a lot of the parents have left, and that something has changed on this planet. And they're like, I don't know. So how long ago was this remote viewing thing done?
I think it was around maybe 2000. Well, one of them was real recent, like 2019. Okay. But I think one of them was earlier, maybe 2017 or something.
But see, this technology was already in place when I was born, because I saw the grid when I was a kid. Like it's a physical thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a physical grid. And the reason why people can't see it is because your frequency has been altered and engineered, so you can't register it. It also has a specific hum that comes off it. When I saw it when I was young, that's all I could see. I thought everybody could see it. It's over everything. It's literally, and like, it encapsulates the entire realm completely. It doesn't matter where you go. You can keep driving to the end of the earth, and you'll see, like, it is a literal net, and it's gray, and it's, it's an actual net. It's a web net.
Is it fibrous? Is it fibrous? Like, it would almost look like a type of weave fabric.
It looks like a grid. No, it's not fibrous. It's electromagnetic technology, but it's an actual grid that you can see. So when your frequency raises to a certain point, it just becomes, it's right there in your face. And I was amazed when I was young, because this is, okay, I was born in 1967, so that technology was already in place, which means it was already in place for a very long time. They're only like, in a strange way, I think they're just finding out about it in the past 30 years or whatever, the past 20 years, right? Because there are people that have seen it. There are monks that have seen it as well. So it's a frequency thing. But I think what they've done is that they've altered the technology because they keep tweaking it. So every time that there's a way made or a way through the grid, they just tweak it more and more. And I think what happened in this last, technological jump that happened, that they actually wanted to seal that in more.
Yeah.
So, this whole thing, and what you said, Evie, when the ruiner was saying that the parents had and that, well, okay.
They definitely mentioned that and said that the reincarnation thing is different and there's no longer the same trap. And I'm like, really? And this was from a 2017 interview. And I'm like, I don't remember hearing that it's somehow not here because something changed. And, there's a lot of rumors about, the bad ones are no longer here, and like the reptilians are all gone now, and da 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 da. I'm like,
they're thriving. They're still here.
well, based on the clients that are coming to us, they're still thriving in the interference, and that's still going on. What I wondered though is that when you talked about the grid and everything, I'm like, well, did you ever notice or observe with your experimentation or with other people, can they like poke holes in it and rip it and stuff? Like get the cut it out and make holes in it, and the grid.
No, you can't get there. You can get there etherically. It's literally an electromagnetic trap that like you get sucked into, if you want to call it like a cage.
Yeah.
That transfers you, etherically, dimensionally, to just, it sucks you into the zone where they just control. It's the control center, right? But if you were to go close to it, it's a proximity thing too, right? Because it's electromagnetics. But if you physically, your body, if it would go close to this, you would be like, you wouldn't be able to handle it.
Like a fly zapper,
what I experienced when I could see it too, and it looked like an energy grid, with the lines going through it like this,
and then
and on it was it looked like you could see far away, but it's a holographic projection on the grid itself, making it look like it was nothing there and you could see far away, and so nothing really interesting, so you wouldn't really go that way. But if you get close to it, you can start seeing the energy waves of it. But then you start getting uncomfortable, like a little concern.
Wow.
Get closer, you start getting afraid, and you get real close, you start to panic, and there's this intense desire to run back to the crowd, the group.
Oh, wow.
And that will turn most people away.
Did you hear the sound from it though? Did you hear that there was and I'm not saying it's a normal sound coming from it, but there is a weird octave coming off of it.
No, I didn't hear anything.
It's really unsettling.
Yeah.
Right, to the nervous system.
Yeah. So I was getting an ultra high bird whistle. You could feel it, and you'd feel it emotionally, and it would make you afraid. But I just knew what it was. I said, "Oh, this is trying to scare me back the other direction." And I just kept, and just passed right through it. Yeah.
So if you think about this is like the Holy Grail battery.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's the Holy Grail battery that's being utilized dimensionally to feed the demiurgic, the whole system.
Exactly, and that's what they said in this. There's two different groups were doing research, remote viewing research on it. One was the Farsight Institute, and one was the Technical Intuition Institute with
that guy.
Brett Stewart.
What's his? I remember
Brett Stewart.
He had a lot of really good. I remember him now on several videos, but I didn't know if he was still active, doing a lot of videos.
Yeah, well, I think he put some stuff on private. I happened to find the whole thing on the Wayback Machine. So I heard it's about a 45-minute or an hour review of the remote viewing sessions. And I picked it up on the Wayback Machine, so I got it. But
so this grid, is it encompassing the entire solar system, the moon, or is it operating on a whole different thing in terms of just this dimensional reality, or up and to 4 and 5 dimensions or something?
This grid that I'm talking about is around Earth, physical Earth, astral Earth, but it's around Earth to catch people and recycle them. And there's different scenarios. It's very important to the enslavers and prisoners that they get us to keep looping back. But it powers a system, and the energy that it takes from us is then used to power a greater system, like way out in the multiverse. It's huge.
Or other realities, or entire dimensional realities they could create out of this life force.
But it's all demiurgic.
Hearing about that.
Part of the inversion. It's all part of all the infinity systems, right?
Yeah.
So the grid that I saw was over the Earth, but then there's another grid that they've placed, which is around the solar system.
Oh.
As you go out, you'll see that there's, you know, you're still being controlled to come back. Like,
Yeah,
it's still,
redundancy. The first time I heard about this was in 1972. I was doing a lot of past life regression work, and I had some
Wow.
buddies that were doing this, and we were both facilitators. And he came back one morning, and he had a headache, and so he got a session, and they looked into a dream he had last night, and he got his memory back. He had gone out of body the night before, and he got out as far as Jupiter, and he said literally there were two beings there like sentinels.
Oh,
Said, "Hey,
wow.
you can't come out here."
Oh.
And he's like, "What do you mean?" And he's going to ignore them.
yeah.
Well, they grabbed his ass, turned his ass back around, gave him a mind wipe and a headache, and he woke up the next
Wow.
morning. And that was the first I heard about.
Yeah, that's very
Yes.
long ago.
Yeah,
Wow. You know?
Yeah.
Bring you
Well,
back.
what about like portals that you come in and out of, like in near-death experiences? Because I remember hearing about it was KT Frankovich who had a near-death experience where I know she exited, but when she came back through the Pyramid of Giza, and like apparently a lot of souls when they go through the near-death or they come back through a portal, she came back through the portal of the Pyramid of Giza back in her body. So it's like there's certain portals where you go and you come back through when you come back.
Yeah, what I know about this subject is stargates and portals. And there's another thing, just the teleporting ability, consciousness shift. People like us, when we go out of body, we don't have to move out with our energy body or our astral body and fly through an energy grid. We can teleport on the other side of the multiverse.
Yeah, and be there.
They can't catch us. But most people on Earth,
Well,
they won't get out of body and travel in that way. They will look for the Stargate or the wormhole or the portal. And some of them they can get through, and some of them work, and some of them they can't get to, or they'll backfire on them, or some shit
kind of
like that.
reminds me of like lucid dream experimentations, like, you know, like when we're working with our dream body, and you know how you learn how to fly in a dream and you feel like, oh, you're in your dream body and you try to lift it or you want to go someplace, and so you're thinking in terms of how you would think in your body. You go from point A to point B, but then you realize, oh, wait a minute, this is not how to do it. I just think about it and become there, and you spin yourself there, or you use a whole different way of thinking and feeling to go from one dimension to another. So maybe
How do you do it, Agvila?
yeah.
I just teleport. For me, I don't have a problem with a grid, because when I go out of body, I always teleport, and I'm never here around Earth, because no, when I'm here, it's really tricky. Like, my main thing is getting out of body, and I'm teaching other people, like, you know, I have groups of people who want to learn it, and I'm like having them like giving tips and stuff, and we go out of body as a group. So a lot of people who get out, oh, I'm here. They see themselves in bed, laying, and they can walk around. But everything on Earth is like on slow-mo. You have additional weight, and people are walking slowly, being attracted back to their body, being pushed back. And I know it's another thing that a lot of people who want to get out of body and are practicing really hard, usually they have the ability, but there are other beings who literally like take out your visuals and you see blackness. You cannot see anything. It's pure darkness. Like, oh, okay. And you see like you have nothing. You're actually out of body, and they turn off your visuals to make sure that you can't see anything.
I've had that happen before. Yeah. Where it's like, that's really weird.
I wanted to ask, well, we got you talking, Agvila. I wanted to ask you about the reptilian, the network, the energy network, or not the energy network, their whole network of enslavement and domination. Have you seen very much of that?
A lot. I mean, all of my movies are related to that.
Yeah. Have you seen the other planets they have and looked into that?
Thousands, like millions of planets that are actually similarly enslaved. And the whole thing about, like, you know, us being messed with here, all the negative energy, deluge that's being gathered, is actually used to power up the sort of grid around here, Earth, and the whole like solar system. But they're using the same thing in our realms. They're coming to their realm, like inside, like hijacking, because they can literally take another body, okay, pretending to be a human or to be another being, then like hijacking the system from inside and taking things over and like messing up the planet. They do it all the time. It's just it's their thing.
Avila, did you see this star system network that they have when they do this? Because they have like centers that are like like I was saying, like the Holy Grails, where it powers like in a star system and everything's connected, and then they have another Holy Grail, you know, that,
Yeah.
and then it just keeps going like that. So it's like a self-generating,
Exactly.
self-calibrating distribution of energy that
Pretty
they
much.
have. And this is what makes it so hideous, and this has been the problem for millions, if not billions of years with these forces.
Yeah.
Because in this way, this is how they're taking over the just one galaxy at a time, one dimensional space at a time, because it's not just going in and doing it solo in that one area. They're networking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Arvil and I, the research we've been doing, we've been tracking the AI. Sometimes you will see a reptilian on a ship. You just go there and manifest yourself there and talk to the reptilian. Sometimes you'll find the AI and you'll track that, Agvila.
Yeah.
Which AI? Because there's more than one.
There's plenty, like literally, like, I guess like which one specifically, because there's tons of them.
Yeah.
But you've tracked the like just jump into the network, the internet of it all, and tracked it
Yeah.
back to some of the key planets.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like there's plenty. Like, you know, I can give sessions to people like with Rich, and Rich is the one talking to them while I'm the one getting out of body. And basically, person can tell the story of what happens to their life, and I can retract their past lives, their agreements, their
Wow.
connections, their entities related. And it's like, you know, okay, you have one little entity messing with you, but then that entity is connected to the other one. There's a whole hierarchy, and
Yeah.
eventually you move through all reptilian stuff, and there's the AI, and that's just
Oh,
one
wow.
person connected the whole circle. You take out one, and then find out that one AI is connected to billions of other ones. Okay,
Clusters.
yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, like when somebody says I've got like fleets inside me, they've got fleets inside them.
Exactly.
They've got like,
Oh, God.
you know, entire systems inside them, because they're literally hooked up to this all, and it's a real
Yeah.
thing. And
Yeah,
they
yeah,
they're insane, and they're not insane at all.
right.
So
That's exactly what Agvila was seeing too. You're one of the very few other people that have mentioned that there are fleets of these things, millions of these things.
Yeah.
So what about, I don't mean to interrupt, but like when you go in the center of the earth, like they talk about how if we go into the center of, I don't know, Gaia or the earth, it's actually a portal into the universe itself, so that if there was a way to go through something that was more purified, could you do that? Or is it still just totally locked into the center of the earth also, like that dimensional space?
I think that any being on the planet, if they went within themselves, they would find it all. The entire multiverse is within you. So
Yeah.
in like manner, if you go into Gaia and you're able
Yeah.
to tap into the consciousness that is Gaia
Yeah.
and blend with her, then you would see the
Yeah.
universe, the multiverse like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
but see, this is a projection we're living, just the same as Terra is being projected. We're not actually in Terra. We're like in the projection of it, and this is part of their technology.
Wow.
This is how they enslave people, because you're not actually where you think you are. Literally.
Yeah.
But have you seen a lot of people shape-shifting? Because I'm seeing a lot of like actual shape-shifting.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agvila, are you seeing this sort of thing?
It's an everyday thing. I really don't like going outside, because if I have a bigger crowd of people, it's not just like them shape-shifting, but also like all the entities around them. Like I see it all,
Ah.
like their energies,
Wow.
entities, auras, shape-shifting, and I'm like, oh, okay, block it, you know, because it's
God.
eventually it gets overwhelming if it's too
Plus,
much.
they know, like, they know when you can see, or do you have a good poker face, so to speak, so that they don't know you're seeing them? But a lot of times,
No,
if they
yeah,
know you see them,
feel
then they
it.
really mess with you, right?
Yeah.
They feel it.
Yeah.
They feel it. So your
Yeah.
frequency, because our frequency is so high, it speeds up really fast.
Yeah.
So as soon as we get within proximity, you'll start seeing that they drop things, they get really nervous.
Yeah, they start getting really,
They may
triggered.
not know consciously that they're actually, the disguise is not able to hold the frequency.
Wow.
But they know everything in them is like, oh my God, this is like, you know, and then of course they shapeshift.
They what?
They shapeshift in front of you.
Yeah.
Like, but the creatures that are connected to them, that's also a separate thing. But did you experience, Avila, that, because what I experienced for the majority of my upbringing was that everything here is super slow and sometimes even freezes.
Yeah.
Like literally. And that you're sped so fast that you can actually go through walls, that you can because everything in you is just super high, right?
Yeah.
Everything around is just almost frozen, that you can actually walk. And like, it is really like, it was when I started seeing it depicted in sci-fi fantasy shows, I was like, oh my God, that's it. Like, it's a real thing. And I, you know, that's how, but that's the frequency that they can't control. And that's the key.